Man, so let's talk science. My name's Nate Post. I'm the founder at Hula, and one thing I'd like to ask, so that you may not know, every modern technology, from that iPhone that you may use once or twice today, to modern cancer therapies, all started right here in a research lab. Well, the past 3 years, I've been running one of these teams, surrounded by some incredibly intelligent people. The problem is last fall, Josh managed to waste 2 weeks and a little more than $30,000 solving a problem that had been figured out 6 months before by a guy he shares a desk with. That's Evan. Yeah, that's what I thought. The obvious question here is, why did this happen? And while it's important here to understand that scientists work in teams, but then individually run experiments and thus individually keep track of those results. So in this case, when Evan figured out that chemical A and chemical B was a problem, well, that was great information for Evan. Didn't do anything for Josh. So now I'm in a position where it's my job at the company to, well, I don't know, keep us a company. And in the world of research science, your success as a business is directly tied to your success or failure in the lab. So I needed a way to not only manage these results, but keep to make that information useful to my guys. Turns out that was a little bit more difficult than you might think. Existing solutions really miss the mark on how scientists actually work. And the worst part is all that information is static. And why is that important? Well, information is one of those funny things that's only useful if you use it. So on paper, it makes a ton of sense, right? We're gonna go take all of our great information and we're gonna put it on a shared cloud so that everybody can get to it. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, right? I wish. Well, it turns out how scientists actually work is they have two choices when they're building an experiment. They can A, go read thousands of experiments to see if something might be maybe relevant to what they're working on, or they can just go do it. So yeah, while yes, it's definitely an information problem, it's more about having the right information in the right context without having to look for it. It turns out I wasn't the only one dealing with this, and that half of $248 billion is spent repeating failed experiments and re-solving solved problems. Oh, and that's every year. The worst part of this is most of this is happening within teams. It's within teams where people are sharing desks because of the hyper-focused nature of research science. So let me put that number into perspective for you. Last month I'm at an event in Lake Eola. Anybody else go to the Light the Night Walk? Really, really cool. Raised $450,000 for cancer research. And while it bothers me knowing that half those dollars are getting lost to this problem, the real tragedy here are the years that are being added to finding a cure. These are years that patients today simply don't have, and that's why we built Hula. Hula's a smart notebook that's helping scientists get to answers faster. We're doing this by giving them the right information in the right context, at the right time, all done automatically and without changing what they're already doing. We're rolling out the first version of our product focusing on 3 core components. The first of which has to do with getting that individual scientist to stop reinventing the wheel. So when one guy figures out something, let's get the entire team working on it. The second is about having the right information in the right context. So when that individual scientist is exploring a new pathway, he can now make data-driven decisions instead of doing what they're doing now, which is essentially educated poking in the dark. And third, and probably most important, has to do with avoiding known failures. Got any guesses? Anybody heard that gasoline and fire, usually bad mixture, burns 100% of the time, right? Well, there are thousands of these types of examples in science. Here's just one really simple one. If you expose this chemical for more than 5 seconds, it's going to ruin your experiment every single time. And while this may seem trivial to you looking at this experiment cost $8,000. That's your average call. So I'm not very good at math, but $8,000 is simply a cost that we can't afford, both from a business standpoint and as a community. What's my favorite part about Hula? Everybody's incentives are aligned. from me, the buyer, I have more available funding on the existing projects, and because I'm more successful on the existing projects, follow-on funding becomes much more prevalent. I'm actually reducing the workload of the individual scientists. From the university standpoint, specifically the tech transfer offices, getting more commercial-ready technology faster. From the funding agencies, we're able to do more science with the same budget. And then finally, it's the community. It's your tax dollars, it's your charitable donations are making more of an impact in the lives in our communities, all because of Hula. So who's working on this? Me, I'm obviously been living this world for quite some time. I have a rock star developer that may be up there. Hey, you want to give a wave? Yeah, give him some love. He's been busting his ass on this one. And then from a formal advisory board, huge shout out to Dr. Pete, and then Mike Judith there in the back. He has been just such a rock star helping us out. And then what I like to call is my informal advisory board. It's the Hot Switch guys, it's the Zup guys, it's the rest of our Starter Studio class that we spend so much time with. You guys will always be on my advisory committee. Anyway, point is, so how do we make money? Traditional enterprise SaaS model, we rolled out this week with Alpha, so one lab, 8 users, will be adding labs at UF, UCF, and private industry over the next few weeks. And so how big is the business opportunity? Right now, there are 2.6 million research scientists. How many in here? Probably not many. Representing a $3.1 billion opportunity. And while, yes, there's a very clear business case here. We can certainly make the argument for why you should invest in this and go and make a ton of money, but really what inspired Hula and what we aim to do, we see an opportunity to fundamentally change the way we approach science. At Hula, we are taking the smartest people in the world and arming them with the best information so that they can change the world. Thanks. Thanks, guys. Thank you.